Welcome to Next Level Greatness, the podcast. Around here, we'll be talking about all things expansion, going from good to great and from great to greatness. I'm your host, Barbie Collab. Get ready for your next level. Let's do this. Welcome to Next Level Greatness, the podcast. What do you do when you're faced with some challenging news, some conflict? I want to talk about this today, and I'm going to suggest that we embrace change, difficult news as an opportunity to grow. And I want to say that we always have a choice, even if it doesn't always feel that way. I listened to a beautiful episode by Ed Mylett. I've heard of him. I know that he's super famous, but I had never listened to him. And I can link the episode below. But one of the questions that he asked was, how is this conflict good for me? Like, what is good about this conflict? And when I reflect on my own life, whenever there has been any kind of poop hitting the fan and conflict, in the short term, we can't really see it. It never feels good. But when you look back, you're like, oh my gosh, that forced me to grow. But is that true? Like, do all of us grow from challenges? No. Some people choose to get bitter. Some people choose to blame. And I think a certain degree of blaming is probably natural for most of us. I feel like it's probably, I don't know if that's true anymore for me, but yes, you know what? When something happens, like, okay, the other day, one of us left the sink running and our bathroom flooded. I mean, it really, really flooded. And when I saw my husband freaking out about it, I was like, oh my God, what happened? And the first thing was like, who's to blame? Who did it? Was it me? Was it him? And then I was like, does it matter? Does it matter who it was? It's happening. It's what do we need to do right now? And so I realized that the time between the blaming and okay, it doesn't matter is much shorter. And before, I probably lived and soaked and marinated blame for a long time. And now the time is much, much shorter. So I want to give you hope that if you are a blamer, that you can shortcut that distance between the blaming and then like, okay, this is happening. So what are we going to do about it now? So I want to give you a suggestion, some tips. And the first thing is to ask the question, what is within my control? A situation's happening, you've got some news that you're not happy about. What is within my control? For me, as I ask myself this question, my attitude is within my control. You know, I talk about human design all the time. I have an open head and an open throat and an open G center, which means that I'm very open to outside influences. And that means that it really, really matters the people who are around me. I mean, it is flipping wild how I could be talking to someone and they're like, oh, that sucks. And I'm like, yeah, that sucks. And I'm like, wait, no, I don't actually believe that that sucks. And so I've become very aware of it. And so very, very discerning about who gets to be in my space. The second thing that I can control are my actions. We cannot always control the results. You want to make $1 million by the end of the year. You want to make $50,000 by the end of the year. You can work yourself to the ground. You can do all the things that you want to do. And you may sometimes be able to, quote unquote, manipulate. And by manipulate, I don't mean manipulate other people. I just mean like, manhandle something, like what the very essence of the word manipulate is, like to mold it to make it happen. But this brings me to Eckhart Tolle. I was listening by chance. There's no chance. It's all beautifully orchestrated. I was listening to an episode with Eckhart Tolle on YouTube, and someone asked him, like, what do you think about goals? And he was like, well, you can have the goals. The problem that a lot of times people face when they're not being conscious is that they get so attached to the outcome. And it's the attachment to the end result that causes us to become unconscious in the process. I was like, okay, this is what I'm teaching in my course, Unchained, a revolutionary soulful goal setting process. And I was so happy that I was like, all right, Eckhart and I are on the same page. Because that's what happens when you're like, okay, well, I need to, I have to, I must achieve this goal by this date. With whom we are involved with, the people with whom we are doing business. And that's not what I want to teach. That's not how I want to operate. And so I really do believe in having goals, but remaining conscious. And in this world, when we're living in the matrix where everyone is like, go, 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 achieve what you achieve, do, 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 it can be challenging, but it's not impossible. And another thing that I want to suggest is that when we receive news or we have conflict or we're in situations, we always have a choice. I was watching a documentary on the Dalai Lama and Desmond Tutu, and it was so beautiful. I can't remember which one of them was saying how I don't know. They were talking about a political prisoner. And he said that the most challenging thing for the prisoner was to lose compassion for the people who were imprisoning them. I mean, that's deep. Because if he lost compassion for the people that were jailing him, for the guards, then he would lose. And it would be easy to be full of hatred. It would be easy to hate, to resent, to blame. I mean, you're jailed for life. But this example illustrates that we always have a choice. How do we react? We can choose to sink or we can choose to swim. Even if momentarily I may feel like I want to blame or that something looks really bad, it doesn't take me long before I know that I'm going to swim. I know that I'm going to overcome. How about you? Are you a sink or swim kind of person? So this is really an episode where I want to invite you to summon your best self. You can summon your victim self. We don't want that. My listeners don't want that. And yet we may be doing that unconsciously. But this is an invitation today to summon your best self. This is an invitation for you to step into your power in this last quarter of the year. How are you spending your time? What are you thinking about? What are you doing? And spend your time being present, yet thinking about what it is that you're going to build in the future. As many of you know, I've been taking rapid resolution therapy classes. I'm going to be doing the certification. And one of the things that I learned, which has been so helpful and useful, is this idea of intending. Dr. Connolly says that when we say with our language, I am intending to take care of myself. I am intending to build a beautiful business. I am intending to be healthy. That our subconscious gets to work to make this happen just by the very intending of it, as opposed to saying, I need to, I got to, I really want to. which I was doing without even knowing what I was doing. And so lately I've been switching that up, and I am saying, I am intending to create the most beautiful businesses, the most beautiful relationships, the healthiest body, the happiest soul. The philosophy around rapid resolution therapy, around intending, is also that the mind attaches appeal and interest in what is good to have done. This has been revolutionary for me. So see yourself having done something, not I got to do something, I need to do something, but see yourself in the future having done it. It's like the future past tense. See yourself having done it. What is it that you want to achieve or have do be in your life a year from now? And begin to visualize having done whatever it is, that the steps that you have to take in order to say, I have done that. That feels good to have done. I'm so obsessed with these new concepts. I believe that they will help us navigate times that are challenging, times that are fun. This is life, right? Life includes all of it. I want to give you one last invitation. It's probably not the last one, to my program Unchained. It is underway. It is truly a revolutionary, soulful goal setting, getting away from the matrix, getting away from the way it's been done before, to creating soul goals in all the areas of your life that work for you, and coming up with a system that works for you, not what everybody else says that you should do. You can find the links in the show notes. I hope that you have the most amazing day. I'll see you on the other side. If you loved this episode, and if you're loving my podcast, I would love for you to leave a review. They really do make a difference in spreading the word and having more people be impacted. Also, I'd love for you to join me in my Facebook community called The Magnetic Portal. You can find the link in the show notes. I'll see you next time.